Okay, this is one of the few videos that I will be posting going over our Semester 1 review packet that will be helping us prepare for our Semester 1 final. So the first 6 questions are going over just principles of algebra, one of the very first things we learned this year. So what we're doing is we're going to plug in whatever number we're given for our variable into the expression and simplify that expression. So for number 1, it's 2n minus 34 for n equaling 42. So first what we're going to do is plug in our number that we're given. So 2 times 42 minus 34. Now we have to use our order of operations, our PEMDAS. So I'm going to write that up so we don't forget. And we first are going to multiply 42 and 2, and we end up getting 84 for that. And carry down that minus 34. So 84 minus 34 is 50. So our answer there should be 50. Number 2, plugging in 7 for x. So we're going to rewrite the expression. 4 times 7 plus quantity 9 plus 10 times 7. And I'm putting that 7 in brackets so I could tell the difference between my parentheses and my brackets so I don't get confused with those. They both mean the same thing. They're both grouping symbols. So 4 times 7 is going to be 28 plus, in this parentheses, we do our multiplication first, so our 10 times our 7, which is 70, plus that 9, so it should be 79. Now when we add both of those together, 79 plus 28, we end up getting 107. So our answer should be 107 there. So for number 3, we have negative 8 minus w, and w is 71. So we have negative 8 minus 71. Following our integer rules, we know that should be a negative 79. For 4, 57g for g equaling negative 2. Now, since we have a number and a variable next to each other, that's automatically multiplication, so we don't have to worry about that. 57 times negative 2 is negative 114. Number 5, negative 22y plus 27y plus 8 for y equaling a negative 5. So again, our first step is to plug in our variable, the number for our variable, which is negative 5. Always take this step, plug in that number for our variable before you try and solve. So negative 22 times a negative 5 is 110 plus a negative 135 plus 8. So again, now we go left to right. Since we only have addition left, we go from the left to the right, just like we read. And 110 plus a negative 35 is a negative 25 plus 8 is negative 17. And last but not least, we have number 6, 64 over a negative x for x equaling negative 8. Now this one's a little bit different. We have to make sure we're careful with our negative signs. So this negative sign here is already there. We're plugging in negative 8 just for x. So we keep that negative sign there and plug in negative 8. So the opposite of negative 8 is going to be a positive 8. That's 64 over 8, which when you divide 64 by 8, you end up getting 8. So that is our first section. That was just principles of algebra. That should be pretty easy for us, and nice, easy review, kind of easing us into this packet. Since there are 100 questions, I know this is a lot for you guys to remember. So this next section, 7, 8, 9, and 10, is solving equations for the variable given, and we have to make sure we check it. And that's in all capital letters, so we remember to do our check step. I know that's something some of us sometimes forget to do, so hopefully we read our directions, we understand that we have to solve it, not only solve it, but check that answer using our check step. So for number 7, it's q divided by 5 equals 23. So to solve for q, we're going to multiply both sides by 15. Those 15s cancel out. We have q equaling 345. Now, we'd circle that answer, and that's our answer. That's what we came up with. We have to make sure we do our check step. I'm going to put the check step over here. Our first step is to copy down the original problem, q over 15 equaling 23. Then we take that next step, plug in what we got for our variable, 345 over 15 equals 23. And 345 divided by 15 is 23, so we have 23 equaling 23. And that shows us that we are correct, so I can put a little check there. Number 8, same thing. This is a multi-step problem, two-step equation. So we have to add our 5 first. We add or subtract whatever number is not connected to our variable. So those 5's cancel out, and we're left with a 3x equals 21. Divide both sides by 3. We're dividing by whatever's connected to our variable. And we have x equaling 7. Now again, we have to do our check step here. Write our original equation. Plug in what we found our variable to be. 21 minus 5, 16. And 16 equals 16. So we've gotten that one right as well. Good thing about this check step is we get to check our answers as we go. So we should know right away when we move on from that problem that we've got it 100% right. So 9, again, it's a two-step equation. Get rid of whatever is not connected to our variable, which is that -2 there. Those cancel out. 15y equals 0. Divide both sides by 15 because that is what's connected to our variable. And our y, we got to equal 0. Now we have to do our check step to make sure that is correct. So again, rewrite our original problem. Plug in what we got our variable to be, which in this case was 0. And 2 equals 2, so we are correct there. Last but not least, number 10, 12s equals 60. So we're going to divide both sides by what's connected to our variable because we're trying to solve for that, which is 12 in this case. So we have s equaling 5. There's only a one-step equation. So those are pretty quick. Now again, we have to do our check step. Rewrite our original problem, 12s equaling 60. Then plug in what we found our s to be, which is 5. So 12 times 5 equals 60. And 60 equals 60. Last question on this page reads, it's a word problem. Sally worked 18 hours at a coffee shop. She worked 1/6 as long as Katie. So I'm going to underline that 1/6 as long as Katie. How long did Katie work? So our answer is going to be in a complete sentence. It's a complete sentence, complete thought. Remember to wrap in math, restate, answer, and prove. And that prove there, that's our work that we're going to be showing in our box. So we know Sally worked 18 hours. And we also know that's 1/6 as long as Katie. Now, we don't know how long Katie worked. So I'm going to put 1/6, and then I'm going to pick K for Katie. So we could also write this problem, 18 equals K over 6. Both of these are the same problem. Now, I want to solve for K because that's going to tell us how long Katie worked. So I'm going to go over in this second problem, multiply both sides by 6. So 18 times 6 is 108 equals K. Now, we found that Katie has worked 108 hours. So we have to make sure our final answer is in a complete sentence. We're going to use Katie's name specifically so we know what who we're talking about. Katie worked 108 hours. So for number 11, make sure you showed all your work in the box and your answer is a complete sentence. And if you've gotten all that, then you're good to go.